Hey, what's going on, guys? welcome to drboystv.com, the home for intelligent black people. Today, we're going to talk about Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon, apparently, at least I'm not sure. I think this is a joke. I hope it's a joke. He announced a new reality show called Who's Going to Have My Baby? And the whole internet kind of freaked out. And I was really curious and interested in the reactions that you guys had. And I'm going to talk about that as well as the high cost of raising a child, but the economic benefit of having children. So I'm going to give you both sides of that conversation. So get comfortable, buckle up your seatbelt. We're going to get started on drboystv.com right now.
Here we are, clearing the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones too late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boys TV. Here we are.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to drboystv.com, the home for intelligent black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I stepped away for a second. I wanted to get a cup of coffee. I'm about to go and do some other work and spend some time with my wife, getting ready for the Black Wealth Boot Camp in Los Angeles, March 10th and March 11th. And so I've been thinking a lot about family, and who better to think about family and family structure than Mr. Nick Cannon. Apparently, Nick Cannon and Kevin Hart, I think that they were joking. I hope that they were joking. It looked like they were joking. They came out with this trailer for a new reality show called Who's Going to Have My Baby, which kind of, initially when I first saw it, it came off like Flavor of Love. I don't know if y'all remember Flavor of Love, where Flavor Flav kind of grossed everybody out by having a bunch of really nasty, desperate women go on the show, beautiful women, by the way, go on the show and compete to be Flavor Flav's Flavor of the Month. And that was the beginning of the whole reality TV show era. Anybody remember that? Anybody else watch Flavor of Love? And like you kind of had to hold in your vomit a little bit, and you kind of wondered like what would make a person hit rock bottom to the point where they would go on the show like that. Well, you know, I spend time out in Hollywood. In fact, I see my friend in the chat, Tierra KJ Williams, aka Miss Black Hollywood. She knows a lot about Hollywood. One of the best actresses I've ever seen, one of the most talented people I've ever known, and she understands just how reality shows work, and just how in LA you have a lot of really talented people who will do pretty much anything to get an opportunity, anything to get put on. There are lots and lots of people who will line up and get on the casting couch. That's how Harvey Weinstein got away with what he did for so many years. That's why many of Bill Cosby's so-called victims were begging him to come visit them years later, were bragging to their friends that they knew Bill Cosby. Y'all remember that, right? So this all, it kind of speaks to Hollywood desperation. So I'm gonna tell you the truth. I found out later that the reality show wasn't real. At least that's what people have been saying, and I believe that. But you know, how many of y'all thought maybe this was a possibility? Give me a yes in the chat if you thought that maybe it was possible that Nick Cannon might make a reality show like this. How many of y'all thought that it was something that, because think about it, it's not like people wouldn't watch it. You know, people will be mad about it, but it's not like people wouldn't watch it. Like, I think people like to watch dumpster fires. People like to watch chaos. People like to watch dysfunction, right? They like that stuff, right? So I think the viewership would have been pretty strong. I wouldn't have watched it myself, but I think a lot of people would have. Think about it. There's this other reality show with these 2 drug addicts named Blueface and Chrissy and Rock, and everybody loves that show. A lot of people watch that because they like to see crazy people do weird stuff. You know, if you ever want to be really successful, be black and stupid, or black and crazy, or be black and funny. If you're one of those categories, then you will go make a ton of money in Hollywood. So here's the deal. So I was looking. I like to pay attention to what you guys think as opposed to the celebrities. And let me just tell you, the comments. Ooh, buddy, the comments I saw when somebody sent this to me. The comments I saw when I clicked and read what people were thinking. The comments were pretty atrocious. A lot of people were really mad about it. Let me see here. Here's some comments. One person said he needs to go away. Now I see some other people in here making comments where someone else said it's a disgrace. Somebody said, this is not black culture. I saw other people basically say, most of the comments were pretty negative. You know, the idea of Nick Cannon kind of making baby after baby after baby after baby after baby is not exactly something that people are particularly excited about. The Daily Mail is actually reporting this as if it's a real news story. A lot of journalists got confused by it, and so a lot of people. I'm looking at this article here, and a lot of people really thought it was real. They thought Kevin Hart really was hosting a show where Nick Cannon would be picking his next baby's mama. I don't really know why they didn't. I mean, y'all do enough debauchery on TV anyway. Why wouldn't they do this? Like, why wouldn't they do a show that is weird like that anyway? I mean, I know that Kevin's coming out, or one of them's coming out with a prank show, and it ain't like Nick doesn't need to go make money to take care of all them kids. So, I thought, oh, okay, that's their next little stunt to get money. And we talked earlier on Dr. Boy's TV about financial desperation and how financial desperation can cause people to do things that they might not normally do. Like in particular, and I don't want to make the Beehive mad, but I probably am when I show this image of with Beyonce wearing the pants with the booty out. Now mind you, she's 41 years old. She's a billionaire mother. She's old enough. And if she lived in Chicago, she could be a grandmother of 3 by now, and but only in Chicago, right? and I said, gosh, it looks like that partnership with Adidas must be really stressing her out, because I don't really know if she has to pose with her booty out in order to make a point. Now, mind you, if it didn't have the chaps, it would just look like a bathing suit. It would just look like her wearing a bathing suit, trying to be extra sexy. There's something about the chaps with the booty out that just kind of gets to you, makes you say, okay, what's really happening here? But where's that coming from? Well, it's coming from financial desperation. Beyonce is her line is not selling very well. Adidas is losing tens of millions of dollars from their partnership with Beyonce. Their situation with Kanye kind of went south. They've kind of tried to repair that. I don't know how far that's going to go. I'll be watching. But overall, sometimes when you really just sort of get this incessant need to make money, you have to do things like this. So that's why I didn't think it was surprising at all for Nick to do this reality show. I mean, he already humiliated himself with the weird apologies he had to make after he made those comments on Professor Griff's show. So I think that his manhood's probably been challenged by now. I think that he's feeling some kind of way in terms of kind of doing whatever he has to do to get by. And to be truthful, I think all those kids is going to come back and kick him in the butt. Now, mind you, having kids is an interesting thing. First off, let me say this. I'm going to give you a couple facts about having children, a couple financial facts. If you could do me a quick favor, please hit the thumbs up button. Feel free to shout out the city that you're from. Also, I'll be in Los Angeles March 10th and 11th doing a Black Wealth Boot Camp. If you'd like to join us, you can go to BoyceWatkins.com. Also on BoyceWatkins.com, there's a free training on how to make money without working. And that's why I talk about selling stock options. This is how I make a lot of my money. So feel free to go to BoyceWatkins.com and you can click on that link. So here's what is interesting about having kids. Again, we know that Nick's show was fake by now. It seems to be fake. I wouldn't be surprised if it was real. But the thing about having kids that you should understand is that kids are expensive. The average child in America costs $300,000 to raise all the way to the age of 18. So every time you have a child, brothers, every time you go out and you make a baby, you're going $300,000 in debt. So the guy, I saw a video of a guy who has 7 kids with 7 babies mamas. And he said that he wasn't going to do a damn thing for any of those kids or any of those women because he told them to get to abort the babies. I thought that was an embarrassment to the black male. I think that we have to acknowledge as black people that we end up looking crazy when we have men who brag about not taking care of their children. I just think that this is interesting because I know a black woman who works at a medical center where she works with parents, young mothers, and she says that a lot of the black women that come in there without a father with their baby, they're mad, they're embarrassed, they're pissed off about it. She ironically, now she's stereotyping here, but she did say, just in all honesty, she said all the Hispanic men, they take care of their kids. They fight to get access to their children. They fight to be involved with their kids. And she said it's only the black women that come in constantly where there's nobody to be found. Now, again, that's a stereotype. I'm not going to say that's true in all cases. There are millions of black men who do want to be with their kids, but this is the perception people have of you, that you just want to spread your seed, so to spit your semen all over the country and have babies everywhere and not think about how that child's going to survive, what the well-being of that child's going to look like, how that child's going to cope in the next generation. I think that black men should reconsider this. But anyway, kids are expensive, $300,000 each. So if you have kids, just know that the lowest net worth in America, the lowest median net worth in America is that of a single black mother with children. Also, the second lowest next to her is that of the single black father with a lot of babies mamas. Give me a guess if you hear what I'm saying on that. So if you want to destroy yourself economically, then don't plan your family properly. Have a bunch of kids with a bunch of people that you just think look good. They got nice booties or whatever. And next thing you know, you're going to end up probably in economic desperation, in economic despair. Now, here's another point about having children. I talk about this in my new book. It's called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. One thing about having children that people have forgotten in a modern society is that there was a time and there are cultures where they see having children and raising them properly as a source of tremendous wealth for the family, not for necessarily for the self, but for the family. Having lots of children back in the day when you had kids and you had a farm, more kids meant you had more laborers to help run the farm. That means it was a better farm. Having more kids meant more protection. Anybody ever know the kid at high school who had 8 brothers and sisters? Anybody know that kid in high school that had 8 brothers and sisters? Did that kid ever get bullied? Did anybody ever beat up that kid who had 8 siblings at home ready to whoop your ass? And how many of y'all saw that growing up? Where you had that one kid with a bunch of siblings and nobody messed with that kid. Why? Well, because they had protection, right? So having a big family can actually be beneficial, and it can be a protective mechanism. It can also come through for you economically. As my parents have gotten older and they hit retirement, me, my sister, my brother, all of us do well financially. We all came through to make sure mom and daddy didn't want for anything. We took good care of them economically, and otherwise we paid off the house, paid off the cars, all that stuff, right? So if you raise your kids right, your kids are a huge asset. But if you don't raise your kids right, it becomes a liability. It becomes a disdain on your legacy. They say, you know what? I'm glad daddy gave birth to me, but my daddy ain't crap. So at the end of the day, the question becomes for Nick Cannon, what are your kids going to say about you when you die? And I don't know what they're going to say. I have no idea. I know when DMX died, his children didn't have good things to say about him. His kids did not feel good, not just financially, but emotionally, right? So having enough money to have 18,000 babies ain't really just the whole issue. It's the question is, do you have enough emotional capital to pass to those children? Do you have enough time to give to those kids? Do you have enough energy for all those kids? And the answer is usually no. It's very, very difficult. Again, I'm not judging Nick and telling him what to do, but I think really having all these kids with all these women, the women all look good and all that stuff, good for him. But I'm really curious to see how this plays out. I'm not judging it though. We'll see. Maybe this is a new model that he's able to make work for himself. I personally am a little bit confused by it because I don't know how this is going to really work out in a good way for the kids. But that's my 2 cents. That's what I'm saying. I'm sticking to it. Okay, guys, I'm gonna get on out of here. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, again, I'll be in Los Angeles March 10th and 11th for the Black Wealth Bootcamp. We're gonna go over my new book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. I'm going to give you a training manual on specifically how to implement generational wealth principles into your family that will last over 100 years. I kid you not. Once you lean into these ideas, and I spent 2 years writing this book, it's based on my PhD, you will apply these principles. And once you apply them, your family will not struggle ever again. Your kids will never have to work for anybody. Your grandkids are going to be good because of the things you do, but you have to make that decision now. You cannot wait until it's too late and then complain because the white man didn't give you no money. You have to take those steps yourself. So give me a yes if you at least agree that we control our destiny, not white folks. I understand racism, yes, but white people do not decide if I take care of my kids. The white man does not decide if I invest in myself. The white man does not decide whether or not I pick up a book. Slavery is over. So the question is, are you going to free yourself, or are you going to choose slavery and remain a slave? That's the problem now. Think about this. Think about how many kids we have that could read all the books they want. Nobody's going to stop them, but they choose not to. Well, that's slavery. You've chosen to become a slave. The difference is that you're now the slave master and the slave. So I don't believe in slavery. I believe that we as Black people need to elevate our thinking and really be very proactive and take control of our community. So anyway, if you are in that mindset, then feel free to join us for the Black Wealth Bootcamp. 2 days. I'm going to give you 100 pages of material. I'm going to go through every single slide very carefully to give you specific principles that we develop specifically in the Black Business School, specifically for Black people. White people cannot use this manual. No disrespect to you, but this is about our issues, our problems, our specific needs. And that's what I spent my entire career working on and researching is Black wealth, Black wealth, Black wealth. We can do this. We just have to try. All right, guys. So if you want more information, just go to boycewatkins.com. You can get a copy of the book at boycewatkins.com or on Amazon. You can also get a free training on the lecture I did on how to make money without working, also at boycewatkins.com. So feel free to go to my website. There's a lot of stuff there. I hope you guys enjoy it. God bless you. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And again, Nick Cannon's show appears to be fake, but his financial problems and his emotional problems are probably going to be very, very real. I'm really curious to see what happens when these kids are teenagers and they start reflecting on what their daddy did and did not do for them. So talk to you guys later. Have a good day. Love you. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones too late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boy's TV. Here we are.